France has declared a national state of emergency and has closed its borders after scores of people were killed in multiple gun and bomb attacks in Paris. At least 100 people are reported to have died at a concert hall in central Paris. Gunmen took many hostages there before being overpowered when police stormed the building. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on tour to the United Kingdom, expressed his anguish and grief over the Paris multiple attacks. The Prime Minister in a tweet said that news from Paris is anguishing and dreadful. Praise with the families of the deceased. We are united with the people of France in this tragic hour. World leaders condemn attack. US President Barack Obama has condemned the deadly terror attack in Paris, saying that the attack is not just on France but all of humanity and the universal values, and also pledged to work with France to bring those responsible to justice. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon also condemned the despicable terror attacks in Paris. On day 2 of his visit to the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a crowd of 60,000 members of the Indian diaspora at London's Wembley Stadium. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister said that the bond between India and the UK is such that all you need to do is turn your watch 180 degrees and you know the time there. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said a youthful nation like India cannot lag behind in development. He also said that anyone who believes in the philosophy of Sufism can never resort to violence. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the Buckingham Palace on Friday, where he had a luncheon meeting with Queen Elizabeth II. During the meeting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Queen Elizabeth discussed bilateral ties between the two nations. He also presided over UK-India CEO Forum, during which he said that India and UK are economically made for each other and that people of both the countries also have a great connect. He also called on business leaders to maximize the tidal wave of opportunity in India for investors. The Turkish G20 summit is all set to begin from tomorrow. Turkish president has said that participants in the G20 summit in Antalya will not forget the event, claiming it will be the most productive and dynamic conference among the meetings held so far. Meanwhile, India has pressed the G20 to reduce the cost of transactions of remittances, as well as reiterated its call for quota reforms at the International Monetary Fund. In Tamil Nadu, the death toll in rain-related incidents have crossed 15 past 1 week. Northeast monsoon has brought in heavy rains in southern coastal districts including Kanyakumari. Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha has announced 4 lakh rupees to the families of those killed in rain-related incidents. Meanwhile, Chennai Met Office has forecast heavy rains all over the state as a new trough of low pressure formed over southwest Andaman will become low pressure in next 24 hours. As many as 126 Indian fishermen arrested on charges of poaching in Sri Lankan waters were on Friday repatriated by the Indian Coast Guard after being released by the Sri Lankan government. Despite inclement weather, the fishermen from Tamil Nadu were swiftly repatriated from 2 locations on the international maritime boundary on board 2 ships and later handed over to the state authorities. Sri Lanka and India had agreed to release fishermen in mutual custody following talks between the authorities. New Delhi is all set to host the 35th edition of the India International Trade Fair, in which 7,000 firms from India and abroad are participating. The fair will be inaugurated on Saturday by President Pranab Mukherjee. The fortnight event has been divided into 2 segments: business days from November 14 to 18 and general public days from November 19 to 27th. Swachh Bharat cess will come into effect from tomorrow. Swachh Bharat cess at the rate of 0.5% will be applicable on services. This will be translated into a tax of 50 paise only on every 100 rupees worth of taxable services. The proceeds from the cess will be exclusively used for Clean India initiatives. Economic growth in the Eurozone slowed to 0.3% in the third quarter of the year, latest figures have shown. The rate was lower than expected and compared with a pace of 0.4% recorded in the previous quarter. The pace of expansion in Germany, the Eurozone's largest economy, slowed, but France returned to growth. Russia's aviation authority has banned Egypt's national carrier from flying to Russia. Flights from Russia to Egypt are already suspended after a passenger plane crashed in the Sinai last month. All 224 people on board were killed, mostly Russian nationals. Egypt Air had been the only airline flying between the two countries, and the move was to ensure it met safety requirements. In Japan, a powerful 7 magnitude earthquake struck off the southwestern coast today. The USGS put the epicenter of the shallow quake about 160 kilometers from the town of Makurazaki in southwest Japan. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center said that there was no tsunami threat from the quake. In cricket, the second test between India and South Africa will be played in Bengaluru today. This will be South African batsman AB de Villiers' landmark 100th match. After a comprehensive 108-run victory in the first test in Mohali, Team India expected to come out all gun blazing against the visitors. Russian Athletics Federation has been provisionally suspended from the international competition, including the Olympic Games, for its alleged involvement in widespread doping. The IAAF took the action after the publication of an independent World Anti-Doping Agency or WADA report that alleged state-sponsored doping. Its council members voted 20 to 1 in favor of Russia being banned.